Hi, welcome to the Corner of Knit and Tea, episode 99. I'm Laura, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this episode and every episode's show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Stash Buckler Adventures in Yarn, where I sell my hand-spun yarns. And we have a Ravelry group called The Corner of Knit and Tea. If you haven't come joined us, please do. So hi, how is everyone? I know I am recording a day late. It is Monday, August 1st, and it is actually late in the day. I have been busy all day working on a variety of things, and we just got back from travel. As I said last week, we were going up to Chicago for the weekend. We were celebrating my dad's 70th birthday, and of course I got to see my favorite little person in the world, Miss Roxy. And on Friday, Wes and I got up super early. The train leaves here at 7:45 in the morning, and we boarded the train and headed for Chicago. I got lots of knitting done on the train, which I'll be able to tell you about shortly. We arrived in the late afternoon, and we actually walked from the train station to the hotel, which was a couple miles, so good exercise and lots of Fitbit steps. That evening, we took my parents out to dinner. They recently celebrated their 41st anniversary, and we hadn't seen them then, so we took them out to dinner. And the next day, we went out to see my sister and her husband and Miss Roxy. And we all spent the day together. We had some meals and some playtime. And in the afternoon, we threw a birthday party because Roxy was insistent that in order to have a birthday, you needed to have cake and a party and presents. So we had cake and party and presents. And it was a great time. I posted a couple pictures on Flickr of Roxy helping my dad blow out the candles, and covered in cake. It had blue icing, and by the end she was covered, and we needed to give her a bath. And then that evening we went to one of the Chicago city parks where my sister actually directed a Shakespeare play. And so we saw that night, and then all six of us, my sister and her husband and my parents and Wes and I, went out to dinner. And then yesterday morning, there was time for a brief brunch, and then Wes and I boarded the train to head home. We got home about 11:30 last night, and took today off for chores and a variety of things, and I have been busy working all day, although I did kind of throw an hour nap in there, but we've been busy. Tomorrow we'll be going back to work. And then next week, actually, we are on vacation again, which brings me to the first thing I wanted to mention today. Next weekend, there will not be a podcast. The next podcast coming up is episode 100, and I have some special giveaway items and a few things that I wanted to do, and I didn't think I could fit it in before we left on vacation, so I decided to just hold it. I'm going to probably record a few segments while we're on a trip, and then I will post a episode 100 the following Sunday. I believe that's August. It's either the 14th or the 15th. And, well, let me think about this. Today's the 1st, and 7 is 8, and 7 is 15, so it'll be Sunday the 14th. So I will post episode 100 then, and you'll just have a little break next week. So that is what has been going on with me. How are you? I hope that you have had a wonderful week with cozy, crafty time, or hope you can stand it in the heat. Actually, it was beautiful in Chicago. It was in the 70s this weekend. So I came home all refreshed to, it's going to be in the 90s here this week, so it will be quite warm again. Okay, let's jump in. Today's tea is maple apple cider. I know, a very strange pick on a summer's day. I went ahead and brewed it in my teacup, threw a couple ice cubes in it, and this is my Skills mug from Society 6. This is Batman knitting. I believe they also have one with Thor knitting, and I have drunk this one before. It sounded good, and so I put it in the mug and iced it. And that is what I am drinking today. So that was kind of quick for that one, but I'll put a link in the show notes. So let's talk about the knits. I have a couple finished knits. The first one you didn't get to see. It is a knit that I did on the train ride up. I took the leftover yarn from the blanket for my nephew, and I went ahead and knit a little hat. The hat is the Garter Ear Flap Hat by Pearl Soho. It is available for free on Ravelry, and it is just a super cute little hat. And I'm just going to show you a picture of it because that's all I've got. I put it in with the blanket and it went away. I did it in the newborn size. There is a baby, toddler, child, and I think some adult sizes, and it is a cute little garter hat with some short row ear flaps. So that was the first thing that I finished. Not a lot of yardage, but a little bit. The second thing I worked on the way up and back was the Zale Anita shawl. And unfortunately, because we got home late last night, I did not have time to block this. So I will need to block it and show you on the next podcast. But Zale Anita is a very long, kind of skinny shawl. I assume that it will grow in blocking because it does have some give. And then it has an applied lace border. Now, the pattern has been knit. It's nice little triangles with little bits of lace. Hopefully I'll be able to sort of show that to you. I guess with my background shirt, let's see if I can, there we go. You can kind of see that it is a triangular border with some garter stitch and some lace. So I plan to block this evening and then write up a review on the blog. You can see kind of how it's going to look. It won't be roughly at the edge, but I hope that it will grow a little bit and it will be a good size just for a wrapping around the neck. A good size kind of shawlish scarf. It technically would be a shawl, but it's fairly, it's not very deep. It's very wide and crescenty. So that is that. I knit that with my Briggs Little Durasport, which was sent to me generously by the folks at Stitchcraft Marketing and Briggs Little. It is an 80/20 wool nylon. It is a single, and it is about 430 yards. I estimate, let's see what the weight of the skein is. It's 113 grams. I used 100. I estimate I probably used around 400 yards. I cut the shawl just a bit short. It is a pattern that has not been knit by very many, so I cut it just a bit short because I was afraid I was going to run out of yarn, and I probably could have gone maybe 1 or 2 rows. Well, each row was kind of a double row across and back, so I probably could have done 2 to 4 rows more than I did, but I was afraid that I would run out and I did not want to play yarn chicken. So I went ahead and finished it. This yarn is beautiful. It is a nice tweedy texture. The colorway is denim and it looks like dark blue jeans. I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting it to show up appropriately. It's actually very similar to my navy shirt, so that's probably what's coming across. That's pretty good. It is kind of tweedy. It's a little bit rustic. This is definitely a workhorse yarn and it's not super soft. My plan is to definitely wash it in some wool wash. I have some samples, and I think I'm going to wash it in some wool wash and hope that it softens up just a little bit, because it's a little rough for around my neck, but I can always hold it and wear it over clothes. I think it would make great socks. It would definitely make great mittens, and maybe hats. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure if it will be a little itchy. I also have super sensitive skin, so there is that. But it was a great yarn and a lot of fun, and if you are into yarn that smells sheepy, this one definitely does. It definitely is a lot closer to the sheep than some of the other yarns I knit with, and if that's something that you enjoy, then this is definitely a yarn for you. Speaking of which, they generously sent me 2 skeins, and I chose to knit a 1 skein project, so they suggested that I give the other skein away. This is your skein in pristine condition, and I opened a thread in the Ravelry group, and we had 37 entries 2 through 37. Unfortunately, some of the people that entered into the contest did not click to join the group, and I double checked, and I had a rule up at the top that you had to be a member, so I had to run the random number generator a couple times. So unfortunately, I had to rule out a couple people. So in the future, if you are trying to win a prize in my group, you really need to be a member of the group. I won't be able to tell if you don't stay in the group, but you really need to click join if you're going to enter in one of my raffles. So, this skein was won by post 30 You know what? I didn't even write it down. I believe it ended up being 37, which is Siberian cat. That is Penny. You won the skein of Briggs and Little. So if you will contact me on Ravelry or my email is thestashbuckler@gmail.com, or PM on Ravelry is Fluffy K. I will get this prize out to you, and I hope that you will enjoy it. So that is the second knit finished and the prize. So I finished the shawl. This will add to my yardage for Stash Dash. I haven't done that yet. I feel like a bad podcaster, but we got home late last night and I didn't want to block this right away because then it would be soaking wet when I recorded today. So yeah, I am going to block it tonight and tomorrow and take photos and then do a post on the blog on Wednesday. And I will bring it back and show you for episode 100. I will show you what it looks like all blocked and ready to go. And of course it will be on my project page. But this was a wonderful opportunity and I very much enjoyed it. And thank you to Stitchcraft Marketing and Briggs and Little. So, and this skein will be going home to Penny. The final project that I worked on while I was away, I brought materials for another baby hat, and this is just a plain vanilla stockinette cap. This is the leftovers from the baby sweater that I knit, gosh, it's probably 2 months ago now. It is the Fido yarn, and it is in the orchid colorway. I knit, what was the sweater? It was called the Abernathy cardigan. It was like a little yoked, yarn over yoked cardigan, and I put green buttons on it. It's for a little girl, and I really need to send that off because she's due at the beginning of September, so I only have about a month left. But I started a little hat on the train yesterday, and I need to finish this and get this out to her. And there were no progress on my Harry Potter socks. I did bring those with me, but I didn't have time. So that concludes most of my July projects. I will probably try and finish that hat in the next day or so. And that moves us on to August, and I brought a couple of the projects that I am going to be doing in August. The first thing that I'm going to do is my third and final project for Camp Loopy, and I decided that I wanted to make my Camp Loopy project also my Ravelinix project. That is the Ravelry site-wide knit-along that kind of goes along with the Olympics, where you watch the Olympics and you knit something. And again, the purpose is to suggest a challenging project for yourself. And I thought about a variety of things that I wanted to do, but I decided what I would do is learn a new technique. And there is a shawl that has caught my eye, and for it I need to learn brioche. And brioche seems to have caught, it is all the rage these days, but this shawl just really caught my eye. This is called Sizzle Pop. And it is a asymmetrical shawl that has kind of this leaf or maybe tulip or flower pattern. I don't know exactly what it is, but it looks really cool. And she did the sample, I think it's like a pink or a red with white, and it really pops. Remember, brioche is it's two color knitting where the pattern remains the same on both sides, and one side you have your main color predominant or dominant, and one side the contrast color is dominant. So this is Sizzle Pop by Leslie Ann Robinson. That is my project for the month. I don't even know when the Olympics start, so I don't know when to start. I need to look. I think it's like August 3rd, 4th, 5th, sometime late this week or early this weekend. So my plan is to take this one with us on vacation, and this week while I'm at home to watch some tutorials and learn how to knit brioche. So I decided that learning the technique before the Olympics is kind of like training for the Olympics. You are not actually competing in the actual event, but you are doing your best to be prepared. Also, while I'm on the road, it's not like I'll be able to watch YouTube videos because we'll actually be doing a significant amount of driving and I don't know what reception will be. So my plan is to watch videos and do a practice swatch of brioche and maybe a practice swatch of the chart, but not cast on until the actual Olympics are going and it is fair game. So the yarns that I am using were both purchased at the Loopy U. It is Hedgehog Fiber Arts sock yarn, and I purchased two high contrast colors. The first of these is Vengeance, and it is gray and purple and pink and green, and it looks like it's all been kind of overwashed with black. It is a dark, dark, moody color, and I am most looking forward to it. I need to wind this up this evening or tomorrow. And my contrast color is Crybaby, which is a white with pops of neons in there. So there's neon pink, there's a little bit of bluey green. I don't even know if you can see that. A little bit right there. And then there are some pops of like a highlighter yellow. So this will be a high contrast color. I hope that these are going to be great together. And I can't wait to show you my progress. I hope to get decent progress going next week while we're gone. The second project that I plan to cast on this month is Roxy's birthday sweater, and unfortunately I didn't print out the pattern yet. I think I still need to purchase it, so let me just pull it up on Ravelry. It is called Wee Leavenwick, and I believe the pattern is by Zolda Teague. Let me just pull it right up. She did a number of really nice patterns for adults, and then she went back and adjusted them for children. And I was super excited because this is a very sweet sweater. It is, hang on just a second. I typoed. That's why it would not find it. It is a sweet sweater. I have tried not to do super girly patterns for Roxy, but I do like a little bit of girly for her. Okay, so the pattern is Wee Leavenwick. It's actually by Gudrun Johnston. So I misspoke there, and it is a really adorable sweater. It has asymmetrical fronts and then a little bit of like feather and fan edging at the front, and I already purchased some cute buttons, and it looks like the rest is in garter stitch. It's got a pocket that has the feather and fan detail. I don't know if you can see. I'm really trying to set this up so you can see, but of course with my phone it's not the best. But that is the sweater that I'm going to be knitting for Roxy. And I picked up, it is pinks and reds and purples. It is this Mongo skein from Threadhead Designs. I got this at the Knitting in the Heartland convention. And it is 560 yards of superwash merino wool. So this will get me through a sweater to Roxy. You can sort of see that. It's got like a dark red pink almost. It's very almost burgundy, and then it flows through with some pinky areas to a dark purple. So my girl's favorite colors are pink and purple. I know that this is a little bit more jewel toned probably than what she thinks of, but I thought it would make a really, really nice sweater, and I'm hoping that it will. So I need to get this wound up, and that is going to be my other knit for the month. And then hopefully I will finish those two projects before the end of the month. I'm kind of hoping that I can get through them in about 3 weeks so that I have about 6 or 8 weeks to work on my Rhinebeck sweater. So the plan is to take those two projects with me. I'll probably throw the other socks in the bag because you never know when you're going to knit a sock. And that is my plan for the next several weeks. So I need to get winding and get learning and get those on the needles. So I am now at 20 minutes and I haven't gotten to spinning yet, but that's okay because I don't have as much spinning progress for you. So a sip of tea and then spinning. Last week when I spoke to you, I told you that my goal was to finish those singles by Gherkin's Bucket. I actually finished them this morning. So my goal was actually to have it finished before I left last week, before I left on Friday, so that I could go ahead and wash it and it would be dry when I got home and I could photo it and list it. And that just did not happen. I ran out of time. The red was 6 ounces of fiber. It was superwash merino, cashmere, and nylon from Gherkin's Bucket. And I finished it this morning. This is a 6 ounce, it's actually an 8 ounce bobbin, but this is 6 ounces. Yes, it's going to blow out the monitor because it is so bright. I probably shouldn't have put it on the bright orchid bobbin either. But it is a little little bit. It is definitely a tonal. It's got some darker reds with almost a little bit of blue in there, and then it's got some lighter reds, almost a little bit of white, and making it a little pinky. It will probably be fairly semi-solid. I mean, I don't think it's going to be completely flat. I think it'll have a little bit of texture, but it is all going to be one color. And so I spun this pretty thin. I am hoping to get 500 or 600 yards out of this. I think this would be a beautiful, beautiful shawl. This will go up in the shop. I don't usually spin solid colors, but these were so pretty and I thought they would make a lovely shawl. So the plan is to actually wind these off the bobbin when I wind the yarn tonight. I'm going to get lots of Fitbit steps winding on my ball winder, because that's what happens. I call them cheater steps. So I'm going to wind this off and try and ply this tonight, if not tomorrow. And then get this one photoed and up in the shop. Which reminds me, as part of our being on vacation, I am going to close the shop for a week. So if there is anything you are looking at and thinking about, think about purchasing it this week, because I am going to probably Saturday morning early close the shop and will not reopen it until we get back into town. That's only because I can't make the shipping deadlines. I set a shipping deadline of 1 to 2 days, and so I need to close it if I'm going to leave, and I don't want to carry all my stuff with me. So this one will hit the shop hopefully Thursday, which will give someone a chance to snap it up before I leave on vacation, and then it will reopen as soon as I get back. So that brings me to what I will spin this week. I do not plan to finish another spin this week, since we are leaving Saturday morning and I still have to ply this one tonight. And I have some knitting and some techniques and some laundry and some packing. So I don't plan to finish another spin this weekend. I will pick it up when I get back. I am not taking my spinning wheel with me. I certainly could, because I have the mini spinner, but I decided for this vacation, since I just came off of Tour de Fleece, and then in October we'll be doing Spinzilla. I decided this time around I'm going to knit, because I have quite a few things I want to knit. So I will not take the mini spinner with me, but what I will start is this beautiful braid. It reminds me kind of Southwestern colors. It's got a yellow, a mauve, a blue, some gold, and then kind of a rust color. It is a braid from Squoosh Fiber Arts. It is Polworth, and it was on sale recently, and I really liked it and snapped it up. And it is in the colorway Curious, and it is approximately 4 ounces. So that is what's next on my wheel and will next be in my shop. So that brings me to the end of this week's activities. I have had a couple prize donations for the 100th episode, so I will be doing a giveaway in there, so please be sure to stay tuned for that. I am super excited. When I started out, I didn't know how far I would go, and 100 episodes seemed like forever away, and we have basically just passed the 2nd anniversary, because I believe I started in early August while Wes was away in India. And so it has been a wonderful 2 years. I am so glad that you have been watching along with me, and I am looking forward to producing that episode. And like I said, it will have some, probably some segments from around the country. We are mostly going to Colorado. My husband decided he wanted to get another timed run in before he runs the marathon in October. So he is running a half marathon trail run in Colorado on August 13th. And so we are going to spend some time bumming around Colorado. We're going to see some friends of mine and go see some sights and get him accustomed to the altitude before he runs in it on the 13th. So that is where we will be next week, and I hope to have lots of knitting time and get out and see a lot. It's very interesting. Whenever I go on vacation, I get all my steps. What we were gone this weekend on Friday, I got, so my daily goal is usually 6,500, which sometimes I make and often I don't make. Most of the time I'm between 4,000 and 5,000 steps a day, which is not great. Friday I did 17,000 steps. Saturday I did 8,000 steps, and yesterday I did almost 12,000 steps. So there was lots of walking around, and I find that often when I go on vacation that's the case. So I am looking forward to that. We are also playing Pokemon Go on our phones. We both have it now, so we are planning to do lots of fun with that too. So, thank you for tuning in to this episode. I hope that you have a wonderful 2 weeks ahead, because it will be 2 weeks until I see you again. And until then, I will say, as I always do, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye!